people are getting better results from this one. I'm going to make sure that we're actually live on the stream. I see Jose's in there. Okay. So I'm going to share out the URL for this one. If Evan and Jeff, you were just talking about Geno Smith. Why don't you continue talking about what you're
Well, I
saying there?
said Gino early in camp, all indications were he was the pretty clear bet number two favorite, and I thought he looked pretty rough out there. His pocket awareness is he kept running backwards and kind of trying to be Russell Wilson, and it just didn't go blow to it. There were a lot of penalties, but Paxton Lynch is comfortable in terms of like being in the pocket, kind of making his read, making his throw. I was surprised how kind of jittery Gino looked for a guy who's been a backup for a long time. It was hard to watch the offense, and I know he's dealing with an injury, but I don't know. I was very underwhelmed by him. I don't know if you guys agree.
I didn't expect that. Thought Gino was going to come into this game and, a quarterback spot, but Paxton really blew me away, especially with he's got some wheels under him. I didn't realize he could.
You laughed at me for this. I told you Paxton Lynch was more for that, but it's true. He is.
I stand corrected. That tall white giraffe can run very fast. I'm impressed.
There was just a really funny moment for him where they were coming out of that timeout or whatever, and Shoddy was talking to Paxton, and Shoddy's kind of like, and Shoddy gave, what the So, I don't know. It's definitely funny, but maybe also a sign that let's not get too ahead of ourselves on the Paxton. Definitely want to go back and try to like catch the screen cap for because it was an amazing look. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, Gino looked bad.
Yeah, I mean,
What he's supposed to...
It's hard to say. He ran. He moved fine. It seems like it could be some kind of minor. Maybe it's his off throwing, not his throwing hand, his opposite hand. Some kind of injury there.
Shoulder thing or an elbow thing or anything.
I want to be very clear. That Wilson throws that ball, that's a touchdown. I'm telling you right now.
I don't know if it's a touchdown, but I think it's probably a completion. I mean.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take that.
I think that. If I'm being critical of DK Metcalf, I would say that on that ball and on the ball that he dove for at the end zone, he slowed up when the ball was in the air. He did not run through the route, and I think he might have caught both passes. I feel like the Geno Smith first pass along the right sideline was somewhat off target, and he tried to adjust for it, so I give him a bit of a pass on that one, but I just would like to see him keep moving his legs a little bit.
Yeah. Surprising.
A guy that we did not see is Gary Jennings. I mean, he was in the game, but I'm telling you guys, he's not doing much. I mean, Jazz Ferguson certainly is doing a lot more than Gary Jennings.
If you limit it to 5 attack in 5, especially if you're keeping Jerron Brown and the front office absolutely loves him, so it's going to be absolutely nothing.
I don't think he played, so definitely
he didn't
He didn't play.
I don't think he played. Tyler Lockett didn't play, I don't think, and I don't think Malik Turner played.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I thought I saw snap. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure because Brown's. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he got a target. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Maybe. Yeah, look, I was really surprised that Malik Turner didn't play, or at least I didn't see him in there as number 17, unless somebody else saw him.
Speaking of,
I expected him to be on.
Speaking of small, speedy receivers, you know who actually made a couple plays?
He's interesting. He's got a skill set that's pretty interesting. He's another. I mean, same thing with DK, right? He's a guy that had like no production, and he doesn't even have like injuries or anything to show for it, and he doesn't have the physical profile that DK has, obviously. But yeah, he's kind of a fun, shifty guy. Yeah.
Uh, what about the defense, though, guys? I mean, I think we all have been really concerned about the defense for, I think, really good reason. And I can't say the Broncos threw out like the best offense of all time that we should all be worried about, but I thought that considering the level of defenders, I mean, KJ didn't play, Wagner didn't play, Jaron Reed didn't play, which we're not going to have for 6 games. I don't even think Al Woods played. There's a long list of guys. And Ziggy Ansah didn't play. Like, all these guys. Bradley McDougald didn't play. And I thought the defense looked pretty good. Like, there was a couple breakdowns, and one of them was... Anyway, I thought the defense was getting some good penetration, the disruption in the backfield. There's a lot of tackles for losses. They looked aggressive. They were moving pretty fast. They weren't like Legion of Boom, but I thought they were better than I would have expected.
I did not understand the Broncos kept trying to run. Like, if there's one thing that this defensive line can probably do pretty well is, as currently constructed as what they rolled out there today, it's stop the run. Like, they were running right into like Meter and Monet and Quinton. Like, it was, I don't know. I thought the Broncos kind of, beyond, rolling Flacco and Hogan and Locke out there, I didn't really get what the Broncos were trying to do.
I thought Locke looked pretty decent compared to what we've been hearing about from his own coach. Not that we're going to spend a lot of time on Broncos players, but he had some decent plays, and he just got creamed, and I think was picked off. I'm watching a little bit of a delay, so yep, Jamar Taylor. I do not know why that guy is so far down the depth chart. I think he's their best nickel corner, but he is like 3rd on the depth chart. And who was the guy that got pressure on the quarterback? Did anyone see there? It was Akeem King. Akeem King was who got the hit.
It's another
That's a nice pick by Jamar Taylor.
They've hurried him. Well, so the safety was shed, right? And Amadi and King now both have hits on Locke that forced the ball out early when getting picked. So those DB blitzes, kind of weird that they're showing that in preseason, but those are they've always timed those up well and everything.
It's nice.
Ugo Amadi had one, right?
Yeah. Well, and he did. He looked really good. I think think about the draft class for a second, fellas. LJ Collier, 1st-round pick, did not play, but now is expected back soon. Marquise Blair, DK Metcalf, Ugo Amadi, Cody Barton. Those guys all looked pretty good, and I know I'm missing guys even. Phil Haynes hasn't even suited up yet, and I think there's a lot of reason to be positive on him. He might be on PUP to start the year. We'll find out. But, and that's not even including the undrafted guys that are in there. So that rookie class is looking like it could be particularly promising.
I know I'm always the optimistic one, but couldn't this just be a combination of like there's no good talent above the rookies, so there are a ton of opportunities? I mean, maybe Cody Barton is the major exception because I feel like he's making a ton of plays, especially with the starters, especially in a like a rotational role. But there's not much talent in front of nobody on the defensive line, pretty much nobody in the safety group, and pretty much question marks at corners. I agree though. Like the rookie class is exciting, but I also wonder if it's just a combination of not having any superior talent in front of them.
Even if Seattle still had Earl and Cam, Blair's had a good preseason game, right? Like,
yes.
So I don't really see that so much. I don't think that's a factor. Like, and same thing with. I mean, and a lot of this is coming late. Like Jazz Ferguson would, even if they still had Doug and Tate and all the those better groups they've had, would still be in the second half and doing the stuff that he did in this game. So I don't know how much of a factor that is right now. Like that's probably going to be why these guys are going to get a lot more playing time early on, or could get a lot more playing time. But I think they just look good.
Yeah, I mean, the other piece here that's just it was really weird. I don't know if Jeff, if it struck you as well, but this just seemed like a very different approach to a preseason game one than Pete's done in the past. I mean, he's been here 10 years now. He's been pretty consistent. He plays his first stringers for the first series on both offense and defense, and then he usually rotates out. Sometimes he'll even give him a second series, but usually then he'll rotate them out and get the second stringers. It's very orderly. Today, it was like all over the place. There was first stringers in there, but only a few, and there was like fourth stringers in there and third stringer. I don't know. It was like all weird, and I was having a hard time figuring out what to make of that.
Yeah, like Blair and Jacob Martin is still playing, and like it's, yeah, the mixing and matching is definitely noticeable. Like it's been cool. I mean, I'm glad these guys are still in. It's made this a little bit more interesting. I agree. Like there definitely used to be a rhythm, and that was not at all the case today.
Yeah, Mingo was playing pretty late too, and he's a guy who might play a lot. But yeah, we noticed him not playing at all. That was a new thing. They always would give him at least one series, and then everyone on Twitter would probably yell at Pete for leaving him in for too long. I wonder if it's maybe the change. I talked to Jay Keeps briefly on Twitter about this last night, but it's a new strength and conditioning group this year. They had that group for so long, and maybe they've just completely changed their approach to these things, and some of their veteran players, and they're playing guys deep into the fourth quarter. Guys, I wonder if it's coming from there.
What was the most concerning thing for you guys in this game? Like, if you're being really pessimistic and just looking for something that is alarming. Nathan, you've always got something.
I've got one, actually. I've got
one. All right, what is it? Hit me, Evan. You think so?
Did not.
He had that catch. Now,
okay, but it was like a ball. So
no, early. On the first drive, he had a little screen. It wasn't even really a screen. It was like, I don't know. I don't know if they actually had anyone out in front of him.
Yeah, that was a nice play, actually.
Yeah,
so, because if I say anything about running backs, people will get mad. But I have no idea why people. But no, so he caught it. I mean, a lot of it was just a straight line run, and then he put this little fake on, just kind of a little dead leg, and like, I mean, the Broncos safety, I don't know what the guy was doing, but like he was flying. It was a nice move though, and got him an extra 5 yards or so. But I did think for an opportunity to just run in 15 yards before he had to do anything, make a defender miss, he looked a little sluggish. He didn't look fast to me. In fact, when it was going, I was ready to get like an anti on it. But he finished it nice with the move. But I didn't think he looked very fast.
And as a card-carrying Rashad Penny realist since day one, I will just say I thought I saw more from him tonight than I saw in almost anything from him last season.
What did you see?
Well, so two things specifically. One, he showed more burst on the play that Nathan's talking about. It was actually going on the television screen left to right, and they threw the screen. It was on third down, I think, like 3rd and 11 or something. And he showed a lot of burst and acceleration, and he just didn't show that last year. He was slow to start. He was not particularly elusive. And that was the other thing, is I saw him make at least 3 people miss tackles, either through breaking them or through eluding them. Last year, one of my biggest issues with him is how is he going to do the Robert Turbin and find the only guy in front of him and run straight into him? Like, he never avoided tackles last year. And I saw him, like I said, I saw him miss at least 3 or break at least 3 tonight. So it doesn't make me think that Rashad Penny's going to be, Adrian Peterson, but it does make me feel like more comfortable that he's going to be a viable backup to Chris Carson that can come in there and carry the tote when Carson's not able to. And maybe I just have different expectations. I don't think Penny is a primetime featured running back. That's not my expectation.
I'm going to interrupt again for another hilarious moment from the end of this game. They're in a prevent defense, and they Gene Green into coverage. He was like standing up like where the middle linebacker would be normally, and Rasheem Green had no clue what he was supposed to be doing, and he's like running back and forth, trying to figure out where he should be, and then he just kind of stands there and watches everyone run past him.
Yeah, and we're
major red flag that Rasheem Green is terrible in coverage.
Before we cut out, I was gonna say I did really good. He looked like he was getting. I guess it's hard to tell, but last year in the preseason he flashed so much. He looked pretty.
Didn't he have a couple tackle for losses though on that first or second?
He did have one, and it's funny. Like you're both right. Like he looked better tonight than he's looked all preseason or all like training camp, but he did not look as good as he looked last preseason. So I think that's totally fair. And by the way, the game's officially over. And that's kind of news. The Seahawks were 0-4 in the preseason last year. They are now 1-0. So take that for whatever it's worth. It's not worth much, but it's a win. Yeah, Rasheem Green. Sorry, I digress. I mean I thought he played an okay game. I'd give him like a C.
Not what you need from a position group lacking a ton of leadership and talent.
No, do you think at all the play of Quentin Jefferson makes you feel any better?
About Quentin Jefferson, yes. About the position group as a whole, no. Yeah. You can't rely on Quentin Jefferson to be a game changer for your season, but it's encouraging to see him put it together. Hasn't he struggled with injuries over the past couple of years, been super not available, but
early that was kind of a thing. I think he stayed healthy pretty much all last year.
I think so. I mean, he was the most active defensive lineman in the first half. Jacob Martin, I mean, I think we talked about him a little bit, but it was really encouraging to see how much pressure he was creating. I thought Mingo created pressure. I will say, man, even at defensive end, being a defensive end does not help the fact that he can get into the backfield and get after a player, but he can't tackle for shit. Like, oh my God. The amount of time, he must have missed 3 tackles again tonight. Like, the dude, I don't know how he does the special teams, but he cannot tackle on defense. It's awful. But he did get pressure, so that was positive.
Did you guys enjoy that they showed the commercial of Jermaine Kearse catching the game-winning NFC Championship game touchdowns? They're showing, what are these commercials? They're awesome. They're showing the tip right now, and it's just like 6 different replays of the tip. I don't know why.
How about a poor day for that dude, though? Jermaine Kearse, you guys saw that.
What happened?
He blew apart his leg.
Like broke his leg, knee, what?
Broke his leg.
Yeah, he was carted off.
Yeah, it was like an ankle. Air cast.
It might be a career ender. We'll see. Yeah, it looked pretty bad. Good luck to him. Someone's asking in chat whether Naz played, and I'm pretty sure he did not. I think he was out with an injury tonight.
What a weird career. I know it's a short career, but what a weird player and circumstance on this team.
He just had doghouse, right? Like,
did he read a book in the locker room or some shit? Like, what did Naz? Because that first year, wasn't he like all I remember is that bullshit Packers game where he intercepted 6 on Rodgers, and then I believe Jeremy lynched somebody or something, and the refs took it away. Do you guys remember that?
There was a block in the back on Averill.
Yeah, it was a block in the back by Cliff Averill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's true. I mean, he really looked like a guy that was going to be a steal. and that was going to come on, and he's just like, you don't usually see career trajectories like that. You know, usually players get better. It's not as common that they get worse. And so, as Nathan said, it's probably something off the field. You know, I don't know what it would be, but maybe we'll find out at some point. What did you guys think about, Jazz Ferguson? We didn't really talk much about Jazz.
I think everybody's like excited about him, but everybody kind of like subconsciously realizes a very minimal chance he actually takes that wide receiver 5 or 6 spot. I really don't think he's going to be that guy. I don't. So let's do the quick mock-up again, as we have done before. It's Lockett, Jerron Brown, because the team absolutely loves him, DK Metcalf, for David Moore. If they only keep 5 receivers, you're talking between John Ursua, Gary Jennings, Jazz Ferguson, Terry Wright, and Keenan Reynolds. That's 6 guys who probably all legitimately have a decent argument for that 6th spot or that 5th spot.
I just don't see how. I mean, Jazz Ferguson looks like he's going to be a solid receiver, and it could be a good fit for the team. He didn't play a lick of downs on special teams that I saw, and I don't think he's got a body type to play on special teams, really, either an athletic profile to play on special teams. So unless he keeps 6 receivers, at this point, I think you got to put Jazz Ferguson over Gary Jennings. Like, I mean, he's done more, but who knows?
Didn't the Seahawks, what's his name? Kaysen Williams. Or no, didn't they keep Amara Darboh over Kaysen Williams? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, so, Richard Sherman
did.
Yeah.
If there's some,
if there's some, did that, yes.
Yeah.
If there's some historical data here, the hunch might be that Jazz Ferguson near close enough to justify that roster spot, especially when he hasn't done anything on special teams.
Yeah, it's always funny with that one. People are like, yeah, Kaysen Williams sucks. See, that proves that they did the right thing. It's like, Amara Darboh sucks at least as much. So don't talk to me that they like made some wise choice there. I just, maybe Malik Turner, I'm way over my skis on it. What I've seen in practice, I think he's the 5th guy. He makes a lot more sense to me from a special teams and a 5th receiver perspective. But then, I mean, Ursua I think looks really good. Again, the only other guy there that if you go to 6 receivers, then I think you can pick like just a developmental receiver that you keep on the roster. And it'd be hard to not pick Jazz Ferguson over Jennings or Ursua.
I mean, the one thing that Ursua has is a more unique. They have a lot of big bodies, and they only have Tyler Lockett and Ursua or Reynolds. That's a small advantage that Ursua has. Even if Jazz balled out today.
Is if you cut him, there's no way in hell I believe he makes it to the practice squad. Somebody will absolutely scoop him up. I don't remember which teams. Pretty sure I remember rumors, surrounding him, and
Schneider
they also
said,
traded.
When they asked Schneider about why they traded for teams that were already talking to him about a UDFA contract. Now,
exactly,
that's a UDFA contract. Ursua has now been in. Teams are kind of settled. Teams have gone out. The chances that he gets snatched up are smaller, but like. So I don't think that he's necessarily all locked. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely the potential. Yeah.
I'm enjoying looking at the Twitter trends because it gives me some idea of how excited people
are about
different
trending?
players. Number 3 is Paxton Lynch. Number 5 is Blair. I'm assuming Marquise Blair. Number 7 is Geno, and I'm assuming it's not good things. Number 9 is Jazz Ferguson. Number 10 is Kyler Murray. 12 is Drew Lock. Number 14 is Amadi. Number 15 is Ursua. I think that's where all the Seahawks stuff ends. But it's kind of interesting.
I don't think Amadi did anything particularly impressive. I mean, he fielded that punt off a bounce and then made a guy miss. That was kind of cool. But I didn't really see anything just like, that stood out on defense or anything. With the exception of, he looks more athletic than I remember him looking in college. And I don't know, and I didn't watch him before the Seahawks drafted him, and so I went and looked at like his measurables and everything, and then I went and looked at and watched the tape because his measurables are pretty blah. But I thought he looked twitchy, like you want a nickel cornerback to look, which is really encouraging because they might. I mean, Taylor looked good, so that position doesn't look quite as terrifying as it did before, but him just looking maybe more versatile, I thought was a good thing.
I thought his game speed stood out to me. I know we talk about 40 times a lot. I think game speed is a representation of how comfortable someone is, and he looked really comfortable in the defense. He looked really quick, and he looked really good on special teams too. I think someone mentioned that on Twitter, but I didn't realize he was that quick of a player as 40 time, but just moving around. He kind of jumped off the page to me.
Yeah, it was a big confirmation for me about Amadi. I thought he just looks like a football player. And there's some guys that when they get between the lines and the game's going on, they look at home, they look comfortable. His blitz was very instinctive. The way he timed it, the way he got in there in the quarterback's face was really nice. The punts he fielded, he was really sure-handed. If I'm a coach, it's not even like his returns. It was, he looked really comfortable catching the ball and really confident, and that's definitely their top priority. And then once he caught it, he looked like he had a plan and looked very comfortable returning the kicks. I would say he's the first real competitor for Lockett for that position. And if they can take Lockett off the field and reduce injury risk for Lockett and have Amadi out there returning punts, I'm all for it. Absolutely. So I didn't think he had a great game, but I thought there were some really encouraging signs. Everything he did, I thought he did well.
I don't think they're going to take Lockett off punt and kick returns, though. That's not something they've ever cared. Like, they kept Percy out there, even though there was a bunch of kind of, I don't know, there was some using him with as important as Percy was to the offense. There was criticism of them rolling him out there. So I do agree that he looked good doing it, which was really cool to see.
Hey, so we are, really keeping Jeff here late into the middle of the night. So why don't we do this? Let's close with one thought from each of you prior to locking it down for the night. And why don't we start with you, Evan?
Oh, good.
What's your
My
one
thought? Good God. Good Lord, you stuck me right on the spot. Special teams looked much improved. That's something we, rightfully so, over like the past 4 to 5 years. I think some Brian Schneider's head. Special teams has really loved this team for several years now, and that criticism is valid. Early signs were positive tonight. So I think one of the most areas critical towards a Super Bowl run are having an effective special teams. It's legitimately a game-changing part of your team. That was encouraging to see tonight.
All right, I'm going to go next. I'm going to give you 3 thoughts because I can't contain myself. 1, I think we saw the new starting safety tonight emerge. I think Marquise Blair is going to end up starting the season opposite of Bradley McDougald. I thought Tedrick Thompson once again proved that he is not a starting safety. That long run, he was nowhere to be found to close that down. And if Earl was there, that would have been a 10 or 15-yard run instead of a 45-yard run. And Blair, I think he's gonna take that spot. Number 2, I thought Shaquem Griffin played more impactful football than Ben Burke-Irvin today. And he started the game with a forced fumble on that kickoff. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it wasn't just a big hit. He actually knocked the ball loose. And he had another big hit later. So I thought Shaquem Griffin played really well, and I think that's great to see. And then there was one more thing. Where did it go? I lost it. Those are two good things. I'll leave the rest for you guys. Jeff, what do you got?
In terms of things we haven't covered, class looks really intriguing. The receiver group, we've talked about it all camp. They lost their best guy, Baldwin, but Evan just guys who are probably competing for one or two spots. So that group just gets more interesting. Jazz Ferguson looked really, really comfortable on a couple different routes, and he keeps making plays based on what's going on at camp. We haven't talked about George Fant at all. Hopefully that's not too bad. We don't know the state of his injury. These guys are running out of tight ends. Dixon's hurt. Guys like off the street. There was a guy number like 80. Staxton, yeah. He had a good block
and Harris, I think they are. I had no
idea.
idea.
Yeah, like these guys, they're running out of.
Sounds like a cop
It
buddy.
sounds like a good one too, actually.
So maybe put the tight ends in bubble wrap. I don't know. Don't play Will Dissly. They're running out of them.
And what about you? You get the final word,
Paxton
Mr.
Lynch,
Ernst.
have yourself a night. Almost forget about Alex Magoo for a little while. So thank you for that. I love myself. Just an idiot third string quarterback at the end of a preseason game, just throwing for just without a care in the world. So well done, Paxton. You won your revenge game. That's awesome.
I note for the production guys, either Will or Josh, to please grab the clip of Nathan saying, "I love myself."
I said I love myself? What did I say?
I want that for. I love myself, and then you pause. And you
I love myself. Oh yeah.
So...
yeah. I also love myself. I'm great. Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for sticking late, and thank you all for putting up with our technical challenges. We are going to figure this out, and that's what preseason's for. We're all getting better in practicing. So take care. Go Hawks. Head over to patreon.com if you haven't already, patreon.com/hawkblogger. Help us make this show even better. We obviously need your help. So take care. Go Hawks.